All right, let's see. I think we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this CleanCloud webinar as part of our Everboarding series. My name is Giuseppe. I'm the head of training and enablement at CleanCloud. And I'm joined today by Lucas, who is one of our onboarding specialists and website specialists. So thank you so much for joining me, Lucas, for, of course, this webinar. We hope you're all going to enjoy the content that you see today. And for those of you returning from the previous webinar, this is just a continuation from the prior topics that we covered. So looking forward to cover a variety of different topics today. As you can see, the usual housekeeping. Say hello in the chat. Let us know where you are from. We always love to see so many of you from all different parts of the world, of course. So great to have you here. And it's a pleasure, of course, to be your host. For those of you that don't know, the session is being recorded and it will be shared with you once the webinar has finished. If you're having any difficulties finding it, please know that we will also upload this webinar to YouTube tomorrow. So feel free to ask us for it just in case, but you should, again, get this in your email because you registered to this webinar. Another thing, of course, is let us know in the chat whenever you have any questions. We'll do our best to respond. And very important, please try to keep the questions on topic, of course, so we can then try to address as many of your questions as possible. What are we going to cover today? So today, what we will cover the basics of the website builder. Now, we did already start to do this in the prior webinar. So today is going to be almost like a continuation. So we're going to start to set up a website. From there, we will start to show you some basics when it comes to customizing the website. We will also cover our CleanCloud AI agent, which relates to the website. We'll have a look at automated marketing flows and one-off marketing. So we've got a variety of different slides here, as you can see, building your website, as we said, making it yours, CleanCloud AI agent, automated flows, and one-off marketing, of course. So we'll go through these topics one by one. We'll do our very best to cover as much as we possibly can and take as many of your questions as we possibly can. And again, like I said, it's a pleasure to be your host. So I think we can pretty much get the show on the road, and I can probably just really begin to share my screen. So bear with me as I do that. And let me just share with you my screen here. So I think you guys should be able to, I need to just make it, put it in the spotlight. I believe you can see my screen. Lucas, feel free to back me up on that just in case.
We can also see the chat again if you want to hide that.
Awesome. All right, I'll move this into I'm using two screens, so I might just move this into my other screen in the meantime. Okay, so as we said, of course, we're going to start building the website, right? So the way that we're going to be able to do that is we have, of course, CleanCloud has a website builder. We can go to the admin area, and in the admin area, we have a hosted website section. Now, when you land in the hosted website wizard, which is this, what you're looking at on the screen, this is where you can start to populate some key information about your website. For instance, you can give your website a name. You can give it an address, right? So this is going to be your URL. It adds automatically .cleancloud.site at the end. Please note, though, and we'll look at this as we go along today, that this is not the area where you start to set up your domain. So if you already have a purchased website domain, you can connect it to the CleanCloud website. It's just that that part will be done after we've been through the setup wizard. So just keep that in mind. This isn't the moment, as of right now at least, to set up the domain, but you can absolutely do that later. So if you wanted to just put your store name in here for now, and then it just has .cleancloud.site, later on, you can change this, okay? When it comes to a default page description and a default page keywords, you can actually get suggestions for these from the AI tool of your choice is what I would recommend. So, feel free to go to whichever one you prefer, whether it be Claude or Gemini or ChatGPT, and then ask, the tool to provide you with information to put in the page description and the page keywords, right? Then you have the ability to enter your information here, the email that you want to sort of display on the website, the phone number you want to display on the website, the address, and so on. These are actually pulled from your CleanCloud account, by the way. And of course, if you want to add any of your social handles, Facebook, Instagram, or X, you can add those in the relevant fields. Once you've done that, you can go to continue. The next area is about analytics. Remember that if you don't have Google Tag Manager, Google Analytics, Meta Pixel, you can add these later. You do not have to do these now, right? So you can go ahead, set up everything, and then come back and add your Google Tag Manager, Analytics, and so on later on. So this is not something you have to do. If you don't have this information or you don't have accounts yet with these platforms, you can go ahead in the meantime. And this is where, of course, we can choose one of our templates, right? We have a template on the left, which is a very common one that a lot of people like to use. And we have also another template here on the right-hand side, which is a bit more basic. However, you can choose which template you want to start from, and then you can make all the relevant adjustments as you go along, right? We try to give you as much customization as possible. So this is just the building blocks, right? This is almost like the foundation of the website, but of course we will be able to make changes as we go along. Now, if you're doing pickup and delivery, for example, you can choose pickup and delivery. If you're just taking in-store orders, then you can just choose in-store. But let's say in this case, we're going to choose pickup and delivery because it's part of the services that we offer. We can go to continue here. Basically in this area, you can change around your primary colors. So for example, I can go here, I can change my color. I can go and change any of these custom colors as well. I can make all the adjustments that I want to make. As you can see here, I can change even this. Let's say I want to change this to, let's just say this color here. And you can just basically make the adjustments and have a look at the impact that or those adjustments have. You can also add animations if you'd like, as you can see on my screen, change the font. Basically, you can make the changes that you would like to make. And then once you're happy, you can create your hosted website. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go and we're going to create our hosted website, right? Now, when you've actually created your hosted website, right, as you can see, this is the website page. I can, scroll down, and this is basically what it has currently set up for me, right? So lots of useful bits of information that, of course, though, need adjusting in some instances, right? We need to make everything relevant to your specific website. Something to note just quickly is at the very top, you've got an edit button. So you can click on the edit button, you can make changes. And as you make changes, by the way, you can always save them by clicking on this green button at the top right corner, right? One thing I thought that would be good to start with now that we've already, let's say, created the website, we want to make some adjustments, is I want to show you quickly something called maintenance mode. So if I, for example, go here to the website settings, you'll notice that there is this thing called maintenance mode here, and I can enable this. Now, what does this mean? This means that if a customer was trying to, let's say, find my website, they wouldn't be able to sort of access the website as I'm still, of course, making changes to it. I don't want it to be live. I don't want people to, see my website just yet. So what this will do is, and I'm going to give you an example in a moment, is it will just allow me to say, my website is currently in maintenance, right? So that customers are aware. And so you can still, therefore, apply the maintenance mode, make sure, of course, it's on enabled. I can just, to be sure, I want to save this change. And then basically what we can do is if I were to go to incognito as a window, I can basically see what that's going to look like, right? As you guys can see here, it's saying we'll be back soon, right? We're making a few updates to improve your experience. Hang tight, we'll be back online shortly. It's got your contact information there as well. So, you can basically make the relevant adjustments to your website as you're perfecting it and, editing what you need to edit and, of course, getting it ready, right? Just actually 1 second, I just want to very temporarily stop sharing my screen. I will just reshare in just a moment. But hopefully, at least so far, so good. Lucas, how is it on the questions front, just in the meantime, by the way?
We don't have any at the
Okay,
moment.
great.
Yeah.
Everything's super clear then so
I'm
far.
ready if you have questions, any of you.
Awesome. Okay, so I'll get right back into it. So sharing my screen again. So we were, of course, making adjustments here to the website. We're talking about maintenance mode. So let's also talk about pages, right? Because as you might notice at the top, we've got home, pricing, contact, and schedule pickup, right? Can you guys see my screen, by the way?
We cannot see your screen now.
You can't. Okay, I believe that now you can.
All good, yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. So you can adjust, of course, a lot of things on the website. You can even add, for instance, additional pages. As you can see here, there is this option here for pages. So I can go here to pages, and then I can click on new page, for instance. And this is where then I can add, as an example, why don't we add an About Us section, right? So I'm going to add an About Us section. Again, description, keywords. Best thing I would say is use, the AI tool of your choice to get this information. Once that's done, then I can save this as well, right? So I can save this. And as you can see now, we have an About Us tab, right? Of course, it's lacking and severely lacking content as of right now, but not to worry. Of course, we can add some. So I'm going to show you what you can do. If I, for instance, hover over here, I see this plus icon, which allows me to add a block, right? So we're going to click on this add block button. And the next thing we can see is that there is a section title with subtitle option. So I can click on that. I can add a section title here. Of course, this is the About Us page, right? So might as well call it About Us. And then we could say, learn everything about the, my test store is called the Ultimate Laundromat. So that's what I'm going with. Learn everything about the Ultimate Laundromat. So we've got our title, we've got a subtitle here. So we've got our first block, but we need to add more perhaps, right? So we've still got this plus symbol here. We can add another block. For our other block, let's say in this case, we want to use this text columns option. So I want to add 2 text columns. So I'm going to click on 2 text columns, right? And we can add here, for example, the story behind the name. We can also have another one that says, let's say, how we treat our customers, for example, right? So again, we can change the text. We can add anything we need to in these areas. We can adjust the fonts. We can change the text color. You've got all the typical options you might be used to if you type on Microsoft Word or Google Docs and so on. You can make the relevant adjustments to the text from here. So let's say also, we've got our section heading and we've got our subtitle. We've got some text blocks here. Maybe we also want to add more. We want to add a nice image, right? So even in this case, I can go and I can add another block. In this case, I'm going to add an image block. And when you add an image block, you've got a choice. You can upload an image from your computer or your device. You can also click on this other option where you are then given 2 options, which are, you can either use our AI generator, feel free to just type in what you're looking for, put the prompt in basically and have our tool generate the image for you. If not, we also have a library of images that you can use. So for instance, let's say I want to use, I don't know, let's say this image here, right? We're going to add this image, right? We can add an image block. So you can basically just, choose the images. Basically, the best thing I can say is trial and error, right? Play around with the website, spend some time with it, and you will then understand more and more as you go along. You can add the information you want to add. You can, remove what you want to remove, as you can see. You can add as many blocks as you need to. Ultimately, this is all about trying to make this as customizable as possible for you to then implement for your website. So this is just basically the idea here. I also wanted to show you another element, which is the blog, right? So we also have a blog option, which is this here. Now, if you see that, you can click then on add blog. And the useful part of adding a blog, you can click on new article, for example. The very useful aspect of adding a blog to your website is improved SEO, right? So you can basically improve your SEO and therefore hopefully, of course, more customers can then land on your website. So adding blog pages to your website is definitely something that is recommended in this instance, right? So add as many blog pages as you need to. I wanted to perhaps provide you with an example from Lucas, who has his famous sock and roll laundry lounge website that he has made in the past. So you can see here that he has this blog feature. I can click on blog and I get to see, blog pages that he has added. So thank you, Lucas, of course, for doing this. But again, it's very useful to have these again for SEO purposes. So that is, of course, the blog. So feel free to add that. Some other just key aspects about your website, of course, as you go and create the website, is what you'll notice is that your pricing is actually synced from your CleanCloud account. So whatever pricing you have in your CleanCloud account is the pricing that you will then see in the pricing page of your CleanCloud website, right? So it's just all pulled over automatically. It syncs across beautifully, and your pricing therefore will be there right away. You also, of course, have the scheduled pickup button. So when we were first creating the website, I made sure to choose the pickup and delivery option because it is, of course, a key service, let's say, that the business offers. If that's the case, well, then great. We added that, and therefore we have, for instance, a schedule pickup option. I'm going to make some changes here, just save this. But as you can see, you can click on the schedule pickup option, and voila, right? We can now see the booking tool as well, right? So it all syncs across based on your settings, which is awesome. Something else I thought that would also be worth showing you is about the so-called global blocks. So I can go to global blocks and I can click on this option for announcement bar. And when you click on the announcement bar, basically what happens is I can say I want to show this bar and I want to give the option to customers to close this if they need to, right? And
Can
I'm
I
going
just step in for a second? Sorry. If you just go to home screen, we don't show the announcement bar on the booking tool. Just to
my
kind
bad.
of reduce the distraction. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. My bad on that.
No, you're fine.
I can't seem to bring it back. Sorry, my screen is a bit frozen, but should I just back out here, I guess? There we go. All right.
Nice.
So thank you for that, Lucas. So we said settings, global blocks, announcement bar. So we want to show this, right? We want it to be perhaps something that the customer can just close, or maybe not, right? We just want it always visible. We can then include the message here that we want to show to people, right? So a classic example of this is all new customers get 20% off their first order with promo code laundry20, right? So let's say that we just want to include this information, right? And then basically we've now got the information we want. We can also, by the way, change around other elements of this as always, right? The alignment, we can change around spacing, radius, we can change around the background as well. So, make the adjustments that you need to make. And as you can see now, you've got a lovely banner at the top with a promo code, let's say, that you might have set up in CleanCloud, right? So it's a great advertising tool as well at your disposal. So feel free, of course, to use it. Something else I wanted to mention is about linking your domain. Now, of course, I don't want to get too much into the finer details of this right now. However, luckily, Lucas...
Could we answer one question? I'm very sorry. We had one question in the chat that would be good to show, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
If you went to the pricing page, so Mary asked us, how do we do it when there's multiple price lists? So if you go to the edit mode on top, and then you tap the settings above the pricing, in there, you can select the price list that you want to show, right?
Amazing.
So you can show multiple at the same time if you want to. So that can be done through here.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much for that, Lucas. I appreciate the intervention. Fantastic. Awesome. Awesome. So if not, we were, of course, talking about the domain, right? So you can, of course, if you purchase a domain, a very popular website to purchase your domain from would be GoDaddy, as an example. There's also, I believe, Google Domains. There's plenty on the market, right, where you can buy website domains from. The best way I would like to sort of explain this though is yes, absolutely. Of course, you can connect your domain. And Lucas, in fact, has actually created an article including all key information on how to connect your domain. On top of that, Lucas has also added very recently a video guide for any of you that want to also prefer perhaps the video compared to just an article. So you can see here there's an article, there is text here showing you everything you need, but there is also now a nice video that we made very recently before this webinar. So you can follow through with the video, and we believe that this will be a easy way to follow through and get the domain connected to this website, right? In fact, the information in the video is related to setting this up within GoDaddy and connecting it to this sort of CleanCloud website. So if any of you are interested in this website tool, my personal advice would be probably purchase the domain from GoDaddy, right? Because then you'll have a guide that shows you step-by-step everything you need to connect it for any of you that had purchased it from GoDaddy. So basically, yeah, that's what I wanted to mention on this point. I believe we should be able to have a call to action there, Lucas, right? So if anybody clicks on it, then you'll be directed to this this link, right? So you can leave it open basically for later as we continue with the webinar. And if you can't see it, just let us know and we'll address that in just a second. I've only got one last bit before I take a little pause and before we get into our next topic. But just something I wanted to also highlight is we've got some examples here of some websites as well that you can see, which are we consider to be very nice and really good examples of websites that can be created from this CleanCloud website builder tool. So you can see here, obviously, this is one example. See, obviously, services, subscriptions, all this kind of useful stuff. And we've got more examples. Obviously, Lucas's sock and roll as well. We've got some nice examples here of what you can make your website look like. And we even have a couple of other examples I just thought I'd go through quickly. As you can see here, we've got, this is yet another example of another website. And lastly, we have this one here as well. So lots of customization, as you can see, put into place with regards to the design of these websites. And, nothing stopping you guys from also doing the same, right? So we hope that you find what you need in our website builder tool. And, I think as long as you spend the time, that is necessary to get the website up and running, then, you can make it look as nice as you want it to look. Awesome. So that is that for this part. I just thought I'd take a brief break to see if there are any other questions that I need to address in the meantime, and then we'll move on to our next topic, which is our AI agent.
How are we looking? Good. I think we are good in here.
Amazing. Okay. All right. Sounds good to me. So we are basically going to look now at the CleanCloud AI agent, right? So this is, of course, by the way, something that is available on Grow and Grow Plus plans. And this is something that will tie very nicely into your website. So it's a way for your customers to interact with a AI helper, let's say, on your website. And you can train it so that then it gives answers to the customers automatically. And therefore, you can save yourself some time through this valuable automation, right? Not only that, but for those of you that actually already have a website of your own, with this AI agent, you can actually put it on your own website as well. Thank you, Lucas, by the way, for sharing that call to action. Again, if you see that button on your screen, feel free to click on it. It will open up an article for you to have a look at later, right? As we then go on, and I'll explain to you a little bit about the AI agent, of course. So without further ado, I think we'll resume screen sharing, I guess, and we'll get into the AI agent right away. So I'm going to share my entire screen again. Okay. I believe you should be able to see it if I am not mistaken. Okay.
Perfect.
Awesome. So let's go into the AI agent area. So again, available for those of you on a Grow or Grow Plus subscription plan. And basically, we can go and start creating our knowledge base. So this is where we're going to be able to start to put some information in. We'll go through this together. So I can say, for example, I have a laundromat. This is my website link, right? I pre-populated some of this stuff, but of course you would be able to enter all this information. This is my website's booking page. This is my website's pricing page. This is the phone number. This is the email, right? And then you would basically be able to continue and say, okay, what do I want to use? I want to use, of course, my default price list, right? I want my store opening hours and store close dates to also be included. And then we can go through the setup. So this is where it's going to start to ask you some basic questions about your business, right? Do I need to be home for pickup and delivery, right? And you've got like a yes option or a no option, right? You don't need to be at home. You can leave your items, for example, on the front door, lobby, and so on. So you can just start to give the AI agent some information as we go through here. So we have more questions. Do you offer bulk discounts or a loyalty program? Let's just say we don't offer them currently, but we don't offer bulk discounts or a membership, right? But you can earn loyalty points. Then it says, do you offer laundry services for businesses or commercial accounts? Yes, we do, right? Do you offer special care options for delicate items, stains, or allergies? Yes, and so on. Is parking available at your location? Yes, we have free parking. Do you offer gift cards and prepaid service options? No, we don't. Does your store have a restroom for customers? Yes, we do. Wheelchair accessible? Yes, it is. Do you sell food or drinks? No, right? Do you offer free Wi-Fi? So again, you're just filling out some of this information. Yes, we do. And then we can click on submit, right? So basically now we've added some information to, to our AI agent. So as customers then go to your website, right, we can already then provide some answers to any questions they have related to those points, right? So this is just going to be loading in the meantime. Just note, of course, that you can also edit your knowledge base, right? So when you finish doing this, you can also then add more information here, right? You can basically adjust what you need to adjust. You can put in the questions. You can then put in the answers, right? So it's very important that you use questions and answers, basically, because it's basically training the AI to answer questions that you may receive from your customers, right? That's the idea with this tool. Is somebody goes to your website, they want to ask a question, and depending on the content that you have here in your knowledge base, that's what the AI is going to use to then answer those questions you receive from your customers, right? So that's the idea, right? Once you've got everything you need, you're happy with the questions, you're happy with the answers, and so on. You can click on submit, of course, and then you now have your AI agent, which is now being trained, right? Quick thing to point out, we'll go through actually an example of an interaction between, let's say, we'll pretend basically to be a customer answering a question, and we'll see how the AI agent responds. However, just something to note down below here is that you have this here for those of you that have your own website, which is not via the CleanCloud website builder. Please note that, of course, you can integrate this AI agent onto your own website, right? Absolutely, you can. So you would still go through the same steps that we just went through. And then once you're done, you would need to basically embed this code on your website, right? And that will then mean that the AI agent is now on your own external website. Let's though go and have a look at some examples of how the AI bot works in action. So let's go, for example, to Lucas's website. I believe let me just maybe quickly refresh here. Let's see. Okay, awesome. So it's going to take a second to load. Hopefully you guys can hear me well. Okay, so, but basically you can say, for example, that you're looking for the price of something here, right? So I could say, what is the price of a shirt? You put that in here and it gives you the answer. Basically, it pulls that from your pricing page, right? So you basically ask the question, CleanCloud's AI agent then will try its best to answer. As you can see also, do you have, let's say if it's, with Wi-Fi, do you have Wi-Fi? And then it will look, yes, free Wi-Fi is available. You can ask a staff member for the password, right? So it's just like a nice quick response, right? That you can generate for customers that go to your website and are curious, of course, right? Now, another thing, of course, to point out is when you have finished setting up your website, let me just go here. You have now this option for chatbot settings, right? So once you finish setting up the AI agent, you've got enable chatbot, yes, right? And then I can give a title here. What's the header title I'm going to give? Let's just say in this case, we are going to go for, I don't know, it's a bit weird to call Giuseppe your chatbot, but you know. And then we're going to say, do you want to include a greeting message? You know, hello, how can I help? And then open chat on greeting, why not? Let's say yes. So basically, you can add the information you need to add on here, and then, of course, we can then save it. So that's the idea. You can include this information. You can basically then have the chatbot run in the, or basically appear on your screen or for customers as they are on your website. In our case, ours is still loading. Of course, it still was just generated, but nonetheless, it's important for you guys to just know that you can make the adjustments here and then it will work on your website, right? That's like the final piece of the puzzle. Lucas, do you think I'm missing anything? I believe not, just to double check.
No, I don't think so. I think that's pretty good. I had some question about activation. So if you want to activate your AI agent, you have to be on the Grow or Grow Plus. And if you just contact support, they will activate it for you. Or they will send me the request and I will do that for you. And we had a question about naming the bot, and we can do that as well, as Giuseppe did. He called it himself, but that name will then show on top of the, sorry, I forgot the word, of the chatbot, basically.
Awesome. Amazing. Thank you so much for that, Lucas. Hopefully that answered those questions on those topics. I think unless there are any more in the meantime, I can actually go ahead and go straight into the automated flows otherwise. What do you think, Lucas?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Let's go straight into the automated flows then. So automated flows, what are they? How they can help you? Well, we're going to go here to this marketing section first. In the marketing section, as you can see, I have actually probably too many automated flows. Obviously, this is my test account where a lot of testing happens. But nonetheless, you can set your automated flows from here. And we'll go through what is this, how does it work, how it can benefit you. So we go to new automated flow. We click on this button. Again, this is, by the way, a feature available for those of you that are on Grow or Grow Plus. As it relates to automation. So let's just say we are going to title this, let's just say retain, let's just say, what's a good one we could put as a title? Never stop laundry, I don't know, something like that. We're going to start, maybe we can choose if we want to start with a template, right? We've got some suggestions of some templates here that you can use if you're out of ideas. But I thought just for this example, I'm going to use no template so that I can show you also how you can build your own. But the idea here is that I need to choose a starting event, right? What is basically going to trigger this flow that we are then going to set together? So I might say I want to perhaps send the flow for the people that have created their first order, right? So I'm going to put first order created as the starting event, right? And I'm going to start to create my flow. So basically, as you can see, right, it says first order created, that's the trigger event. So now we can set what happens after that, right? And that's where we can use this plus symbol, right? So we could say, okay, we click on the plus symbol. What do we want now to happen, right? So we have sending options. Do we want to send them something right away via SMS, email, or push, right? We also have the option to wait, right? We maybe want to wait a day or two, perhaps. And we even have options for if else, right? So if something, we'll go through this as we go along, of course, but the idea with if else is if they perform a certain action, they go down one branch. If they don't perform that action, they go down another branch, right? So let's just go through this together. I'm going to set a waiting period. So I'm going to say wait 3 days. All right. and we're going to submit that. So first order is created. We wait 3 days, right? And now we're going to say what's going to happen next. So let's just say we are going to send them an SMS, for example, right? And we're going to say, thank you. We hope you loved the service you received, right? As you are a new customer of ours, here's a promo code to get 20% off your next order, right? And we can put something like this. So obviously you want to have that promo code perhaps created beforehand, right? And then you can reference it in your SMS. You can also, by the way, send yourself a test if you want to see what this will look like for your customers. But in this case, we're just going to save this, right? So we set the SMS as what the next action would be after those 3 days, right? Now, let's say we want to put an if-else condition, right? So orders created, waited 3 days. We sent an SMS including a promo code to try to retain their service. You want them to place, of course, another order. We've given them a promo code to encourage that. So now let's set an if-else condition. So we're going to click on plus. We're going to go to conditions and workflow, and we're going to set an if-else condition, right? So let's say, for example, we're going to put order count, right? So if order count is, let's say, equals or greater than or equal to 2, right, in their lifetime, because by this point, hopefully, they would have placed another order, right? So we could add that. And so we add the rule. We can also, by the way, add multiple conditions if you'd like to. So you could say if they also have an online account, you could basically add multiple different criteria here. So you can really just target the people that you want to target, let's say, right? So we can add an if else here. So we send the notification and then we can say, okay, if they have 2 orders, right? If they have a customer online account, if it matches those conditions, yes, then we can send them like a thank you. If they still maybe haven't placed that other order, then we can send them, for example, something to kind of chase them up and say, hey, we noticed you haven't placed an order yet, let us know. So again, with all of this, you can always save what you're doing as well. You can go back into it later, edit it, and so on. And very importantly, by the way, this is where you make it active or not. So this is what kind of starts the campaign. So as of right now, this is all inactive, right? So nothing is being sent just yet. I can zoom in, I can zoom out, and so on. You can check when it's last saved. And if you need to save again, obviously just hit the button, basically, right? But the idea here is you create the kind of flow that you want to create. You set the conditions that you want to set. I would even argue that after the SMS that we sent with the promo code, it probably would be a good idea to even include another waiting period, right? Maybe we add another 3 days before it analyzes if they've placed that other order or not, right? And so then we can make sense of the yes or no branches, right? We want them to place 2 orders, right? We want to obviously target people that have an online account. So now we can even set conditions for those that did place a second order, right? We can maybe include a message to thank them, like we said, or for those that didn't place a second order, maybe we can follow up and just remind them that they have that promo code at their disposal, right? So that's kind of like an idea of this. So for instance, again, just to show you, so let's say for yes, we could send an SMS. We could say, thank you so much for placing an order. Placing an order. If you have any feedback, let us know, right? And this might be the end of the journey in terms of the flow on this side of it. But on the other hand, for those that are in no, we could still extend the journey further, right? We could say, okay, well, they didn't place an order, so we're going to send another SMS. Hi, this is a reminder that you have 20% off your next order, right? With promo code, I can't remember if I called it laundry20 or not, but nonetheless, we include that, right? So again, we can set more, and if they still haven't placed an order, we can wait and send them another message. So the idea is that you set this up and let CleanCloud do the rest, right? It's going to send the information that you want to send. It will send it, of course, using the conditions that you've set as well. so that's the beauty of all of this, is that for all the current customers that you have, you can target those customers, using these flows. Just set the automation up, and like I said, let CleanCloud take care of the rest. That's basically the idea regarding the automated flows. Obviously, feel free to to ask any questions you may have regarding it, but that's pretty much a good idea of it. And remember, of course, yeah, go ahead.
We had one question from Steve. Is there a way to set up a notification to trigger if a customer hasn't placed an order in X amount of days since the last order?
Good question. Like an internal notification to inform you, right?
Yeah, so I think we can do, if we do order count in the rules in, let's say, last 30 days is 0, that means they haven't placed any order since.
Right.
Which I think would resolve that.
So you're saying, sorry, for example, here, you were saying about a condition, if else, right?
So and we can do order count.
Yeah, equals 0, right? And rule in the last 30 days, correct. Right? So you could use that, and you could save it, for example, right? Yeah. So then it's checking that information as well. The only thing is that it still isn't necessarily going to give you like an internal notification, right? But you have then the option to kind of segment again what you're going to do, or what you're going to send, perhaps to those in this case that don't have any orders in the last 30 days, right?
Right.
Perfect. Awesome. But don't forget also, by the way, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. I'm wondering, because of course we've got like customers export, which can be quite handy potentially for this. So there's also some things that perhaps exist on the metrics page that might be worth checking regarding this as well. In fact, something that could definitely help is in the metrics area, you've got a customers tab, and there is an area here where it shows you, customers. So you've got like, customers, orders, and so on, invoices, new customers, and then you've got customers with no recent orders, right? So you can basically check, who doesn't have any recent orders from here as well, just as, one example of this. Sorry, Lucas, you were going to say something?
I just had one more question from Ken, and if there's a way to see which customers are in the flow.
So it's going to highlight to you here the customers that are in the flow, and it's going to show you those customers that have actually completed the flow right from here. The only thing I would need to double check is I can't remember off the top of my head right now if the number is blue, because if it's blue, it means you click onto it and it shows you who specifically is in it. I think it isn't though. So I think it will just show you the count, but I don't think it shows you specifically the names.
Yeah, I think we can check on that.
Yeah. We'll try to let you know on that as soon as we can, of course. But thank you, of course, for the question. Otherwise, how are we looking, Lucas, in terms of questions?
We have a question from Leonard. Can we include hyperlink in the SMS notifications for promo codes, for example, Laundry 20?
Good question. Now, if you put a link in the message, if I'm not mistaken, it will hyperlink it. But you know what? So that I can actually answer you, the best thing that we can do in this is you can actually run a test as well. So, for instance, when we set up automated flow, and when we send, for example, the SMS, if I were to have included, like, let's just say, I don't know, cleancloudapp.com, for example, right? And I sent this, you can send yourself a test, right? You put the phone number in and you send it. So you can double check this one very quickly if you like. So the only reason I can't test this right now is that I'm using a US test store account and my phone number is a UK one. So
you will actually see if you want to go one step back from the phone number.
Sure.
It will give you the Oh, that's a referral code. Okay.
Yeah, I think it does. I think it does hyperlink it. Like once you actually send it and then it arrives
Yeah.
on the phone, I think it does. But I just, I think the best way to be sure is just run a quick test from here otherwise.
Mhm.
Perfect. Anything else in the meantime?
Let me have a look. Leonard asked, can we exclude business accounts in the workflow?
Can we exclude business accounts in the, I guess, obviously in the automated flow, right?
Mhm, mhm.
Very, very good question. So let's go to, I know there was an option here, add business account. So we've got exclude from loyalty points, but that's not what we want. If we want to exclude them from the flow, give me just a second. I'm going to see if I can figure this one out. So if we got maybe, let me see. I do know if not of a way around this just in case, but I wouldn't know like of, sort of like a toggle that will just set, like just one toggle to apply, let's say in this case. I know a way to do it still. But just so you know, the way I am thinking is basically you can add every person that belongs to a business account into a so-called customer group. So for instance, in the admin and payments and finances area here, you've got this area called customer groups, right? And so like, I know that this would be a way. I just can't seem to think of another way as of right now. But if I go here to businesses, manually assign customers, I can enter everyone that I know is part of a business account. So like, I can add, these people here and so on. And then once I've got that done, I save it. And then the idea is that through the marketing tool, when we go to, let's say in this case, we go to our automated flow, you'll notice that there is like a condition option here. So for instance, I could say, customer group, businesses, for example. I can then make sure that these people, let me see if I do this. Let me see. Right. So I could say, okay, condition is that they are not part of the business accounts, and then I can kind of set things in motion. Right. So there is a kind of a way to do this, but feel free just in case to contact our support team, right? Because if there's something that we're missing or I'm missing right now, then we'll get back to you on that as soon as we possibly can. Lucas, is there anything else otherwise?
There's one more question. It's probably better if you just show very quickly. It's about sending like a one-off mass email to all customers.
Yes, that's actually on my next topic. So that's actually perfect. So anyway, let me just quickly making a quick note. All right. So that leads perfect segue, by the way, into the next topic, which is one-off marketing, right? So we want to, of course, make sure that everyone has options to use our marketing tool. Obviously, we've covered with the AI agent and the automated flows. We've covered two features that are specifically for those of you that are on Grow or Grow Plus. However, we also have one-off marketing, which is available on all plans, right? So, for example, you can use here on the left-hand side, you've got this tab for email. You also have a tab for SMS. You also have a tab for push, right? So this is basically where you can go to set a one-off marketing message, right? So let's say in the case of, let's just say email, right? I mean, maybe I just want to send an email to my customer base, to those that perhaps have specifically opted into marketing. So you can start to design my email from here if I ever wanted to. So I could say email subject, I don't know, we miss you, 20% off or something, right? So title could be, again, we could probably even replicate that if we want to. We can put that in here. As you can see, this is a nice preview it gives you as well, right? Message, what do we want to include? We could say, we noticed that you haven't place an order in a while. Here is 20% off your next order with promo code laundry20, right? So you could send something like this if you like to. As you can see on the right, remember you have a preview. So it's already going to include hi and the name of that customer. It's just going to pull the customer's name automatically. So what I'm trying to say is you don't need to type hi and, that's it. It's already doing that for you. It will pull the customer name. You can just think of like, what is the actual content of this email? What do I want that to look like? The great thing also about the email option is that you can include even, call to actions. So for example, I could say, what is it that I actually want this customer to do? Perhaps it's to create an order, right? Perhaps it's in fact to use the promo code that I have created perhaps for this, right? Now, the thing is, if a customer gets an email and they click on this button, right? The idea is that it will direct them to the CleanCloud app, right? So that's where then they would be able to kind of go and continue, whether it be you're prompting them to create an order, whether it be you're prompting them to create an order with a promo code, which is what the use promo option would do, or whether you use the call to action for something else, right? You've got different options here. Maybe it's to see your pricing page and so on. But what you can also do is if you, let's say, like directing customers specifically to the booking page of your website, then there's absolutely nothing wrong with using the custom URL option, which I'm also a big fan of. So I could say here, visit our website, right? Custom URL could be, I don't know, I'm just going to put something here for the time being, ultimatelaundromat.com/book, right? That might be my booking page. And so I know that if the customer clicks on this button, they're going to be directed straight to the booking page of my website, right? So again, a very good idea of something that you can use with these call to actions. You can also, of course, add rules. So again, like we saw before, you can use the rules you want to use. You could say, I want to target only people that have already an online account with us. I want to target those that have, order count equals 0, right? In the last 30 days. And then I'm going to only be targeting specifically those people. There's an exclude business accounts option here as well. So this is actually quite good because it's here. It must be somewhere I'm missing on the automated flows option. So apologies. Like I said, just contact support and we will try to address that as quickly as possible. But nonetheless, this is where we can send then the one-off marketing message. You can also check on how many customers it will send this to, right? This is a total of customers opted into marketing, right? And a list of customers that match the criteria that I set above, right? You can, of course, again, send a test. So you can just double check what this actually looks like. You can, see, okay, pretend almost to be the customer, right? Send yourself a test. And then once you're happy, you can click the send button, right? And that will now start sending to the customers, of course, that match the criteria. So you've got the ability to do this for email. You can use the one-off option for SMS, again, combining with rules. You can use the push option for those customers of yours that perhaps are using the CleanCloud app to place their orders, again, using, in this case, call to actions. So, a lot of different options for your one-off messaging as well. And in terms of also performance tracking, you've even got this history tab, right? So if you want to kind of see and track some of the effectiveness of these one-off marketing messages you're sending, just so you know, you do have this history tab to keep track of it. And before I forget, one last thing as well is regarding the message types. So for those of you, let's say, that have moved recently over to CleanCloud, or not even just those clients, but those of you that perhaps need to announce something to your customers, I thought it would be worth just briefly mentioning this informational notification, right? Usually most people have a marketing opt-in and opt-out system. This is something I covered in detail in the last webinar. Basically, if you ever need to send a message to all your customers, right, and you don't want it to consider the marketing opt-in, because in this case, if it's informational, that's not marketing, that's different. If you have something urgent to tell your customers, right, due to a few machines being broken in our store, just know that we're closed today, or whatever it may be. If you need to do an announcement that is very important, that you need everyone to be aware of, please note that you do have this informational notification option, okay? This, again, does not require people to be opted into marketing. So if you need to send a message to everybody, letting them know about some announcement for informational purposes, again, this isn't out for marketing, because, it's to let people be aware of something that you need to let them be aware of, because it's important. You can use the informational notification option. Right. I think with that, we have covered every major topic. How are we looking in terms of questions?
I think we are good. I was just answering some in the chat. Daniel had a question, is there a way to change the price list layout? I'm not sure what that was related to. If you want to let us know, Daniel.
If it's related to the website, though, if it's like the CleanCloud website, then yes, right? It's just perhaps if it's in a different area, then I wouldn't know yet. So feel free to specify, of course. Anything else, if not, Lucas?
Other than that, I think we are good for now.
Amazing. Fantastic. Okay. Well, look, I hope everyone's enjoying, by the way, this whole Everboarding webinar series, because, there's plenty more to come as we go along. So we will, of course, be doing more and more of these, and we want to really focus on the continuous development of everyone using CleanCloud to make sure that you can take advantage of CleanCloud and use the variety of features that it offers. I feel like when anybody is going through the initial phase of getting started with CleanCloud, right, you're so focused on getting everything set up and getting the workflow covered. It's really important, though, to know that there are still more aspects that you can take advantage of, right? And so that's where these webinars can really, really help. So yeah, that's what this is all about. Ultimately, it's continuous training. So I'm looking forward to host some other ones in the future. Julio, regarding the review button, so there is actually something regarding reviews that we can also, let me quickly find something that I can share with you related to reviews. So let me just quickly pull something up for you and send it your way. So bear with me. Okay. So that is a guide related to reviews that I've just sent to you. And feel free to just consult that, obviously, in the meantime. And then Daniel, yes, with regards to the website, yes, you can basically make adjustments in the pricing page of the CleanCloud website builder tool. Right. I think, Lucas, how are we looking otherwise? Is everything all good if not for that? Yeah?
I think we are good, yeah, absolutely.
All right.
I just need to say for the pricing on the website, yeah, there is a setting option. You can make some of the changes there.
Amazing. Lucas, thank you so much, by the way, for helping with today's webinar. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, Julio. Love to hear that. Love to hear that. Hopefully you guys are also excited. Francisco, as long as you registered, you're getting the recording. So don't worry. We're also publishing this on YouTube tomorrow. So if you can't find the recording for whatever reason, we will post this on YouTube tomorrow. If you otherwise do need to get any of the other previous webinars as well, just feel free to let us know. So yeah, we're going to continue on with the series and do more and more webinars as well. So there's plenty more to come, and we're always very grateful that you're joining and giving us feedback and so on. And so for those of you also that are going to watch the World Cup today, enjoy. I think today is the inauguration, and wishing you guys all the best. Leonard, I think in that case, you can just start with the website builder, right? And then you can, if you have a domain, then you can just connect it, basically, right? Lucas, fair to say?
You would have to rebuild the website. You cannot move it.
Right. Right. In that case, you would need to. But hopefully with what you've seen today, it wouldn't take too much time for you to create your own CleanCloud website. And if you then want to save some money, then why not, right? Then use that from that point onwards. So anyway, guys, thanks again for your time. A real pleasure to host you today. Thank you, of course, to Lucas for helping with the chat. We'll see you and announce the next webinars as and when. Of course, as always, we'll email and send you an announcement in your CleanCloud account so that you can join the next ones. And see you next time, everyone. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.